day to each and everyone. I am Liwalad Muhammad Harbi, and I am the leader of this group, which is the Group 3 in Gec122, the Understanding the Self. So in this video, together with my group members, will explain or share what they learned in Lesson 1 and Lesson 2 in Gec122, the Understanding the Self. So enjoy watching this video. Good day everyone, I am Liwalad Muhammad Harbi, and in this video I will show to you what I am learning in Lesson 1 and Lesson 2 in the subject Gec122, Understanding the Self. So it's about ourselves, to know the difference of aspect in our personality or my personality, or to describe or to learn more about yourself. So after I read our module and watching the video of some philosopher just like Socrates, Aristotle, Plato, John Locke, and Augustine, so I learned more about it on how they define or explain the self and the difference and their differences of point of view in explaining the self. So in understanding the self in philosophy, it is important to us because it can help us to live better by helping us to understand ourselves as a thinking and acting being. Just like Socrates, in Socrates is you should be able to know ourselves by analyzing ourselves. So the main goal of Socrates is to obtain happiness, then to know more a lot of ourselves. Okay, so life is challenging, so we should be able to learn more about ourselves and to be able to survive the challenges we'll be facing. So that is the one of the important to learn more about ourselves or to discover more about ourselves. So let me discuss some philosopher who focus in the self, which is Socrates, Aristotle, and Plato. Okay? So in Socrates he was concerned with the problem of self, and he believed that every man is composed with the body and soul. So like what I said lately is Socrates is focused on to know more about yourself or analyzing more about yourself, and his belief is, or the main goal is to obtain happiness, or to spread more happiness in his belief. In Plato, so according to Plato, is the soul conceived of as self has three parts, which is the appetitive soul, the spiritual soul, and the rational soul. So rational soul is, so in rational soul is, according to Plato, is the rational soul is located in our head, and the rational soul enables the human person to think, analyze, reflect, and the other cognitive functions. So in other hand is the spiritual soul is so in spiritual soul is according to Plato is it is located in self, and it enables the person to experience happiness, joy, sadness, anger, and other emotional feelings. So in appetitive soul is according to Plato is it is located in abdomen, and in this appetitive soul is according to him is you'll be experiencing physical pain and other physical want. So while in Aristotle is, according to him, is the human being is a composite of body and soul, and that the body cannot be, that the soul is cannot be separated according to him. So in the lesson 2, self, the culture, and the society. So in this lesson is it will help us to define how individuals see each other and how they related to each other. Okay, so that's all. So that's all for this video, and thank you for watching and have a nice day.
Hey, my name is Teacher H. Khalid, and I'm here to talk about what I've learned in Lesson 1 and Lesson 2. So, in Lesson 1, I learned what is philosophy, the ancient philosophy, modern philosophy, and the contemporary philosophy of mind. I learned also a lot about myself by characterizing who am I, what makes me special from others, and etc. And because of that, realization hits me. I learned about what kind of person who am I, which is not the very patient one, but I'm the kind of person that uh, easily contented with small things. I appreciate um, efforts and so let's proceed to lesson 2. In our lesson 2, I learned that in each year passes by, I constantly change to my behavior, the way I act to others, the way I communicate to other people, the way I dress, the way I act, and I also learned the similarities and differences about myself, about all the stages of myself.
I am Jamir Datumanong Makabantod. I will discuss philosophy. What is philosophy? Philosophy comes from the Greek word philo and wisdom, respectively love or pursuit of wisdom. These are the three famous Greek philosophers. First is Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. First is Socrates. Socrates, he is the student of things. He is idealist. He is known of Socratic method, Q&A. For Socrates, in addition to the physical body, each person possesses an immortal soul that survives each beyond death of the body. Next is Plato. Plato is the student of Socrates. He wrote the Republic, which speaks about Socrates' dialogue. He is also idealist. He is the proponent of justice social. He said that if every individual should devote his life to what is best fitted for her or him to do. He also recognized the inherent difficulty with the view. Last is Aristotle. Aristotle is the student of Plato. He is the father of realism. He wrote Metaphysics. He believed that knowledge expressed in action and end of education is not knowledge alone. And the next one is self. What is self? Self in contemporary literature and even common sense is commonly defined by the following characteristics. First is separate, second, self-contained and independent, 3, consistent, 4, unitary, and 5, private self. First is separate. Separate self is distinct from other selves. Hiniwalay niya ang sarili niya sa iba, almost like want to be independent. Next is self-content and independent. It can exist in itself, allow it to be self-contained, which own thought, kaya manirahan mag-isa sa buhay, kaya maging independent, tumayo sa sarili. Kasi sometimes kailangan din natin maging independent sa buhay para may marating tayo. Hindi yung aasa ka sa magulang, aasa ka sa iba, kailangan din natin tumayo sa ating mga paa. Maging independent tayo sa buhay. Next is consistent. Consistent, it has personality that is enduring and therefore can be expected to persist for quite some time. Maging consistent tayo sa mga ginagawa natin to become successful in life. Hindi yung paiba-iba tayo ng desisyon. Kailangan may goal tayo na isa para maging success tayo sa buhay. Huwag paiba-iba ng isip. Kailangan consistent kung ano i-google mo, dapat yun talaga. Hindi yung kung ano yung may isip mo, yun na naman. Kung anong gusto mo, yun na naman. Dapat maging consistent tayo sa sarili natin para may makamit tayo sa buhay natin. And next is unitary. Unitary, it is the center of all experience in thought that run through a certain person. Ito ang sentro ng lahat ng karanasan at pag-iisip ng tao, kung ano nung iniisip natin sa buhay. That's unitary. Next, private self. Private self, that self isolated from the external world, it lives within its own world. May mga bagay na kailangan maging pribado. Hindi lahat kailangan alam ng iba. Kailangan maging private self din tayo. Dahil sometimes it's better not to tell other para tahimik at walang makisasota sa buhay natin. Mas maganda sometimes maging pribado na lang tayo para at least hindi lahat ng may mga bagay na kailangan maging pribado tayo, hindi dapat kailangan ng iba, hindi kung sino-sino na kailangan. Mas maganda sa sarili na lang natin para at least walang husga sa atin, kung ano man yun, kung negative, each. And that's all. That's all again. I'm Jamira Datumanong Makabanto. And Salamu Alaikum. Thanks for watching.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. I am Amrosi Lumabog Imba. What I've learned and I have understand in the subject understanding self is that I have cleared it to myself that better understanding of ourselves is very important for each and every one of us. I have then empowered to make changes and build my own strength to know my own self. This subject helped me also to widen my own understanding and thinking capacity to understand many conditions and identities, to know one's particular sensations, experiences, and proportionate attitudes, such as beliefs, desires, and so on. It gives everyone the tool or knowledge recommend for examining both one's own life and the various possibilities open to you throughout your life, and I think everyone should know this. It will help us to have a better tomorrow and future. And I believe also that self-understanding is the key to the successful resolution of any emotional problem. Key to the successful resolution of any emotional problem. Therefore, it will be a huge help to those people having a hard time to understand themselves and understand others, for the reason that in self-understanding we will be able to experience ourselves as unique and separate individuals. We can also learn how to ask questions well and how we might begin to develop responses. It makes a person more rational and logical, and this helps to find inconsistencies in thinking and clarity of thoughts and language. Thus, achieved is essential to all fields, especially to the fields like teaching, law, administration, management, and etc.
Good day, ma'am. I am Nurlaila Saripada Imam from Group 3. In this video, I'm gonna discuss or I'm gonna share what I have learned in our subject titled Understanding the Self for Gec122. In our topic, there are several philosophers discuss their own defining about self. So, in Socrates, the philosophical, I have understand or I have learned to his philosophical the importance of the notion or knowing oneself. For him, man's goal in life is to obtain happiness. Happiness motivates us to act toward or avoid things that could have negative effect in our lives. As such, fully knowing oneself, a person will be able to achieve happiness. Yun ay para sa kay Socrates. Yun ang naintindihan ko sa kanyang philosophical or defining about selves. So, understanding ourselves is through internal questioning or introspection, or knowing or understanding our weaknesses and strength. I have kept in mind in our subject that a person who is a follower of truth and wisdom will not be tempted by vices and will always be correct, more unethical. In life, many things can be felt, but even though we want to, it's not easy to follow them in every step throughout life, because we are living in a materialistic world and we like it in many ways. In understanding ourselves, through understanding ourselves, we should concentrate on what is right rather than concentrating our efforts on proving who is right. Siyempre, sa pag-understand ng ating sarili, dapat nakatutok tayo doon sa kung ano ang tama, hindi sa kung paano natin i-prove kung ano ang tama. So we should decide what is best for us. So, in understanding ourselves, dapat maalam natin kung paano tayo mag-decide para sa sarili natin kung anong makakabuti sa atin. In order to understand ourselves, try to be what we are, or try to be who you are, knowing ourselves in deep by trying to understand our behaviors, so we can make changes and develop ourselves to be the best we can. That's what I've learned, and that's what I've learned in our topic. Thank you for watching.
There you go. Good morning, ma'am. In this video, I will be discussing about what I learned in lesson 1 and lesson 2 in Gec122 Understanding the Self. So let's get started now. So, lesson 1, the self from various philosophical perspectives. So, what is philosophy? Philosophy comes from Greek word philos, means love, and sophia means wisdom. Philosophy is the study of basic, fundamental, and principle of life, knowledge, reality, existence, morality, and human nature through use a logic and reason. So, sinasabi dito is parang ang philosophy is isa sa palaging nagtatanong o nagbibigay linaw ng mga katanungan ng mga bagay-bagay, o ang philosophy na to is layunin na sagutin lahat ng mga tanong natin about ourselves, like why do we exist, why do we need to know ourselves, parang ganon yung parang philosophy ang nagbibigay ng mga kasagutan sa mga katanungan natin about sa sarili natin. So, lesson 2. The self, society, and culture. What is self? The self is commonly defined by using characteristics separate, self-contained, and independent, consistent, unitary, and private. Sabi dito, ang self is parang may iba't ibang katangian. So, parang kagaya natin, ako may iba't akong katangian. So, ganun din ang self, may iba't ibang katangian. Ang self is separate. Is always unique and it is own identity. Kahit, ang sabi dito, kahit may twins ka or may mga kapatid ka, never kayo magiging magkapareho kasi because you are yourself, even though magkadugo kayo or twins nga, never kayo magiging parehas kasi separate kayo. May kanya-kanya tayong characteristics. So, next is self-contained and independent. Sabi dito sa module, it can exist in itself. It does not require other self for it to exist. So, parang you don't need to ask, why do I exist? Parang ganun. Hindi mo na kailangan magtanong kung bakit ka nag-exist dito sa mundo. You're allowed to contain your thoughts, ideas, feeling, and emotion. You can express it through your action. Parang ganun yung sinasabi dito. So, number 3, consistent. It has personality that is enduring and therefore can be expected to persist to quite some times. This self is not accepting. Sabi dito, parang yung characteristic na to is parang hindi niya ina-accept yung mga salobin ng ibang tao. Lagi niya lang iniisip yung sarili niya. Parang wala siyang pinapakinggan, wala siyang pinapanindigang mga naririnig niya sa paligid. So, parang ganun yung characteristic na to. So, next one is unitary. It is the center of all experience and thoughts that run through a certain person. Parang ito yung mga nangyayari sa buhay mo na until now, nangyayari pa rin talaga. So, parang ganun yung isang characteristic na to. So, next is private. Each person sorts out information, feelings, and emotion and thoughts processes within the self. So, parang lang siya, consistent, consistent, self-contained, and independent. So, parang, kailangan na ipapakita mo yung characteristic mo talaga sa ibang tao through action, parang ganun. Parang, you can do all you want. Parang ganun. So, overall, ng mga characteristic ng ourself is this characteristic or tendency is always present in every pattern of our action and behavior. They are difficult to hide because this is part of us. So, hindi na natin ito matatago kasi ito na yung characteristic na meron tayo. Hindi na natin ito matatago sa mga kaibigan natin, sa mga parents natin kasi ito na talaga yung kinalakihan natin. So, that's all. Thank you po.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. So, I am Alnor Sidik Pangkugalaw and I will discuss some of the things that I've learned in the course Understanding the Self. First is, why do we need to study or understand ourselves? We need to study and understand ourselves because we need to know who we are, who you are, and who are we as a person related to another person. I've learned some of the meaning of the self through the philosophical perspective of the self. I've learned the connection of our body to ourself, and I've also learned the two realms of Socrates. First is, there are many meanings of self in the philosophical perspective of the self. But, yung pinaka naintindihan ko at yung pinaka natutunan ko ay, self is the essence of human being. Ibig sabihin ay, the self is the one that completes a human being. So, if there is no self, there is no human being. But there are some philosophers who don't believe that self exists, such as David Hume. He does not believe that the self exists. Second is second is the connection of our body to ourself. The connection of our body to ourself is the self is the one that giving the body the life to move, to animates and do things. So it means that the body is the vessel of ourself. And lastly is the two realm of Socrates. The two realm of Socrates is the physical realm and the ideal realm. First is the physical realm. The physical realm is a realm that is changeable, imperfect, and transcendent, which is the physical world we live in today. Everything you taste, you smell, you touch, and you feel is belong to this physical realm. And the ideal realm is the realm that is immortal, unchangeable, and the perfect realm. It is also the realm of the dead. You can also compare the ideal realm to the heaven and dead and hell, which we go after we are dead. I think that's all, and I hope you learned something in this discussion. And Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.